In the middle of the night, Ella woke up and thought maybe I should have covered my hair up before meeting any more new people. I do not want to get kidnapped because I have stupid hair. I should not have to cover my hair up because other people exist. I have a right to occupy space too. I know Baby Bear does not understand my hair is priceless and everyone wants the value it holds. He did not mean to cause me discomfort by introducing me to those merfolk. I just wish I was normal, and maybe I need to start wearing a wig everywhere I go so I do not give anyone ideas to use me. I wonder how Baby Bear is going to take it when I tell him I do not want to meet any more of his friends. I can't say that to him. His feelings will be in shambles. Ella laid there for a little bit, then she fell asleep. Throughout the day they did normal things, then the night came. Ella sat in her room waiting for her younger sisters to come in. Once they came in, Ella stood up and said, "Did you girls like meeting the merfolk?" Starting with Rebecca. Rebecca said, "Yeah, but after a while I got bored and did not know what to say or do." Ella waited for a second to see if Rebecca was done. Then she said, "Is there anything else you want to add?" Rebecca thought for a moment and then said, "No." Ella then looked at Lilith and said, "Well, okay, your turn." Lilith pointed at herself because she was about 90% sure Ella was looking at her. Ella nodded and said, "Yes, you, Lilith." Lilith got excited as she said, "I have never seen a mermaid before, and I always wanted to see one. After a little bit, I got bored to death." Ella nodded in agreement, then waited for a second. While Ella waited, Lilith got an idea. Then she said, "Anything else you want to say?" She said, "Can we take a picture of the mermaids next time we go?" Ella said, "No, they probably would not like that." Daisy jumped up and down while her sisters were talking because she was excited and could not wait for her turn. Then she said, "My turn, my turn, my turn." Ella said, "Hold on a second, Daisy." Lilith complained, "Why can't we take a picture of them?" Ella said, "Because they probably do not want humans to know of their existence." Lilith said, "Taking a picture of them will be nice. They want their picture taking." Ella said, "You are saying what you want them to say. You are the one who wants to photograph them. They don't want that. They want to stay a secret." Lilith was not giving up because of her wants and lack of understanding of what other people wanted. Therefore she said, "But we don't have to show anyone the picture. We will hide it in our room." Ella said, "You cannot take pictures of people without asking." Lilith got louder as she said, "Yes, you can." Ella shook her head no and said, "No, Lilith, that is my final answer." Lilith got mad and started to cry. Ella wanted to make her stop crying, but she needed to teach Lilith a lesson. Ella thought Lilith will understand one day why I do what I do. Daisy was still complaining about how she did not get a turn during all of this. She said things like, "Okay, my turn. Daisy wants to go now. My turn. I want to go now. My turn, my turn, my turn." And finally they acknowledged Daisy. Daisy said, "Now I'm going to go." Ella said, "Okay, Daisy, go." Daisy froze for a second and looked at Ella. And she said, "What was the question again?" Ella forgot the question for a moment. She freaked out. Then she thought it had something to do with the merfolk. did you like meeting them? Yeah, it was worded kind of like that. Then she remembered word for word what she said earlier. Did you girls like meeting the merfolk? Daisy shouted while jumping up and down. And yeah, let's go again. Now, Ella grabbed Daisy and said, no, it is bedtime. She said, really? Ella nodded and said, yes. Ella put her sisters to bed. Ella lay there and thought Daisy liked meeting them. That is no surprise. The other two got bored after a while, and maybe I can convince them to back me up when I say no to Baby Bear when he wants us to meet new people. I need to be more careful when meeting new people. Wait a minute, those mermaids probably know where Baby Bear lives. I will talk to him about that tomorrow. Maybe merfolk do not like gold. No, they love gold that falls off of ships and floats to the bottom of the ocean. There are all kinds of people who paint pictures of sunken treasure chests at the bottom of the ocean with a mermaid messing with the treasure. I need to convince them not to go back. I wonder how Bime felt about meeting the mermaids. I will talk to him about that tomorrow. Hopefully he did not like meeting them. I will try and ask him this. They all said their prayers, and then they all went to sleep. The next morning arrived. The family did what they usually did, and after lunch, Ella went to Bime's room to talk to him. She knocked on his door. He said, come in. And Ella came in. He said, what is it, Ella? She hesitated. Then she said, Bime, did you enjoy meeting the merfolk? He said it was cool to see a real mermaid and merman. I wish I could have talked to them a little more if I was not so nervous. Ella said, well, I don't think we should talk to them again. He put his hands up and said, why do you have to be like this? Ella got a hair annoyed and said, like what? He said, antisocial. She put her hands on her hips. She got annoyed with Bime and said, who talked to the merfolk the most? Who? He said, you are the one who does not want to talk to them again. And she said, I have real gold hair. I don't want them to get any ideas. And Bime rolled his eyes and said, you can stay here while the rest of us can hang out with them. And Ella was hurt that he said that. Therefore she said that they saw my gold hair, you would be putting me in danger by going back. When they see you, they are going to think of me. Bime barely listened to her as he said, I wish you were not like this. She was offended by that comment even though she agreed with him. She said, okay, I will stay home. As she began to exit the room, then a bad idea crossed her mind. She could not resist saying, maybe you should tell them my gold hair. A wig so they don't get any ideas. He rolled his eyes and said, shut up, before she left. Ella was very hurt by all that was said and done. Ella ran to her shared room. She sat on the floor. There she saw Lilith. Why am going to stay inside today? Can you tell them that when they go outside? Lilith had hardly any empathy skills, so she did not notice her sister's sadness. Lilith said, okay, I will. Lilith left in a few minutes. Ella sat there and thought, don't worry, you made the right choice. You don't want to cause more problems, idiot. My hair is turning Bime against me. After that thought, she began to cry much harder. All the kids except Ella went outside to play. It did not take much time for Bime to say, let's go see the mermaids again. Baby Bear began to lead the way. Baby Bear, Lilith, Rebecca, and Daisy had no idea what previously went down between Bime and Ella, therefore they went to go see the merfolk again. Rebecca looked up to Bime and said, "Where is Ella?" Bime said, "She decided to stay home." "Don't go get her. She wants to stay home." Rebecca was not mature enough to connect the dots in her head that Ella asked that question last night because she did not want to go back. Therefore, she said, "Are you sure?" He said yes. Rebecca did not like the tone of his voice when he spoke to her. Therefore, she stopped talking about Ella for a while. Ella just cried. She wished she never asked him about the merfolk. Then she thought, I should dye my hair a new colour, therefore I am not a problem anymore. Well, the merfolk know my true hair colour. Actually, they don't. I could lie and say my real hair is a wig, and I used an eyebrow pen to make my eyebrows match my wig because I wanted to create this look. Well, I should not lie. I will just stick to my original idea. I will stay away from everyone except my siblings and my adoptive bear family. Ella wiped her tears off, however, she was still upset. Then she began to play alone. Soon Ella began to feel better. While walking, Baby Bear noticed Ella was not with them. He freaked out and said, "Where is Ella?" Bime said, and Ella decided to stay home. "She is fine." Baby Bear said, "Okay." Therefore, they continued walking. After a while, the kids arrived at the place where the merfolk liked to hang out. Baby Bear was more social due to his upbringing, and therefore he had an easy time talking to the merfolk. Bime tried to talk to the merfolk too, but was not as successful as Baby Bear. The human girls got bored quickly and started getting restless. Christopher looked towards the younger sisters of Bime, then he said, "Where is the sparkly-haired one?" Bime was not the brightest bulb, so he said, "Her name is Ella." Christopher said, "Is Ella your sister?" Bime said, "Yes." Christopher said, "Where is she?" Bime said, "Ella decided to stay home." He was little concerned as he said, "Is she okay?" Bime said, "Yeah." While Bime was talking to Christopher, Daisy threw a stick at Rebecca. However, she moved out of the way, therefore it hit Bime. Bime quickly got irritated with how his younger sisters were behaving. They were getting more bored, so they ran around and kicked dirt up. They threw a few sticks around after kicking up more dirt. After a short time, Rebecca ran up to Bime. She got his attention. Then she said, "Let's go home. I am bored." Lilith ran over to them and said, "Yes." in an elongated way. Daisy had no idea what they were saying. However, she ran up to them and said, "Me too." Bime thought, "We have to take them home." Unfortunately, Rebecca is not old enough to take them home. Therefore, Bime and Baby Bear took them home. They said their goodbyes before they left. As they walked home, Bime thought, "Why can't these girls stop being annoying? They act so immaturely." Bime was mad as they travelled home. Once the kids got home, everything was pretty normal. The girls came into their shared room and saw Ella enjoying herself as she played with her dolls alone. Rebecca said, "Ella, it was smart that you stayed home. We were bored the whole time." Ella said, "No, thank you. Come, take a seat and play." They did as their older sister said. They had more fun at home with their older sister than with the merfolk they could not talk to or relate to. Soon the day came to an end. They all got ready for bed and went to bed. Ella thought I was right to stay home. Maybe one of these days the girls will understand I know best. Well, at least we got to have some fun today. Ella lay there and thought some more. After they all went to bed, they all said their prayers, then they went to sleep.